Yeah, that's right. Let's go. I really thought this record was slept on, man. Bucket hat. Let's go. Pauly. This was fire, man. I love the way they flipped the shit. Like, hey. And this is the way he comes in straight rap. Back to rap. Summertime. My name's Cat Pauly. This is how I'm living. Hey! Straight hip hop right there. We call it shining. The perfect timing. Hey, somebody on the highlight. Hey, the wolves is with me. Woo! Fire! Let's go. The hot shit of wolves gon' spit it. Hip hop, man. Yeah, get it. Gotta have it in the worst way. The wolves, a wolf is the fact of the rat that used to do jokes around your neck. That's a good look. Alright, see, this is the kind of shit, this is what made you like rap. That's why when I see people like Kanye, Fraudye, Kendrick, and these whack niggas bastardizing rap, I'm like, you're not what made rap cool. Stop it. You know that. This is what made rap cool. Shit like this. You know that. And you know that. Back to rap. Beats dumb. Back to rap. Back to rap. Anyway, let's switch that shit. Another dumb beat. So, let me get my shit off for a second. Why did I play that? I love the record. I've been playing it quite a bit recently. I heard it when it came out, and people slept. But you know, in a way, I'm not surprised because this has always been the problem, actually, when you think about rap. The hardest shit is not usually popular right away. It never really is, you know. And I've made this comment a fair amount of times. That's why it's interesting when years later, because years later people go, oh, you know, I was always a big Mobb Deep or Nas or Wu-Tang. It's like, stop it. Old folks, stop lying, okay? The hard shit, especially I would say back then to a certain degree, the harder shit is just more abrasive, you know, and like people didn't necessarily want to hear that. You know what I mean? Now, hip hop is abrasive in my opinion by nature. I think the way that things are cut up and looped, there isn't a certain aggressive aspect to it. That's cool, right? So my point is this. Usually people start off by shitting on the most abrasive, aggressively cool acts, right? That's typically the pattern. I saw it with Rocky. I saw it with Playboi Carti. Pop Smoke, to a certain degree, I saw a little bit, but it wasn't, you know, I think Pop came around at a time when people like, you know, Rocky and Carti have kind of opened things up. So it's not that Pop got immediate love, but he was starting to get love for real. Man, when Dior was out, I mean, I was in Brooklyn, but it's not like people everywhere were listening to Dior like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that stuff has come because Pop has passed. But the point is, like, I remember going to Baltimore, like, not even like a couple of months after Dior had come out, and people in Baltimore hadn't heard that shit. So it was like it was very local, actually. Pop was very local for a minute with that rap shit, even though that shit was hard. That's what I'm saying. It's not something like people that make the hardest shit. It doesn't always translate. It doesn't translate right away most of the time. But over time, people go, oh my God, that was dope. And the thing about the hard records is that the hard records last the longest. That's why it's important to have street records, to have, and I'm not talking about content, but I'm saying in terms of the feel, that authentic b-boy hard energy, because those records last the longest. They have more energy than the other records, clearly, right? And that's why they last forever, right? When you hear some shit like, so what you saying, right? It's hard. That energy is going to last forever, right? Anyway, why am I bringing this up? I wanted to talk real briefly about Kanye. I've, talked about Kanye, I think enough. But the last thing I wanted to say is that obviously, as a hip hop fan, I don't want to be that guy that's always like, and so I was right, and so I was right. It's not like a fun position always to be in, right? Trust me, I don't get a kick out of being more right than everyone else. That's not really the point of my channel at all. The point of my channel is really to just explain and sort of portray things that I think get neglected in the culture, and to just keep it 100. You know what I mean? So it has been disappointing a lot of times to see someone like Ye get placed on a pedestal because, like I said, a lot of the things I've been saying about Kanye, I said them back then. You know what I mean? Like, I just noticed certain shit right away. I'm an informed hip hop fan. And I think the lack of informative hip hop fans and the way it's really created is really disappointing. Because I'll tell you something. I never liked Thru The Wire, right? I heard Thru The Wire when it came out. I thought the song was trash. Personally, it just wasn't for me, right? In fact, if you want to be, keep it real, that shit was mumble rap to me. I'm a black guy, I'm Jamaican. And the way he was rapping on that shit, to me, was like the beginning of mumble rap. And I've said this before, that Kanye, Eminem, Lil Wayne, they are the progenitors of this mumble rap bullshit that you guys claim is the worst thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that shit, whether it be the drug use, Eminem, always writing about drugs and random goofy shit, right? Or Lil Wayne, for example, the lean, all that shit, right? The sing-songy bullshit, Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Like, the soft drums, all that shit that, to be honest, is categorized by weak-ass hip-hop now, you can trace back to them, if you ask my honest opinion. But the point is, I always thought it was super weird when Kanye made that song about that car accident. Because the car accident, we all know the song was about the car accident, but we don't know the details of the car accident. And I remember at the time looking up the details of the car accident because I was like, okay, this is a weird thing. Because again, I remember people even like my brother who were like, oh my God, Kanye spitting that real shit. It's so deep. This car accident is like, it was life changing, but it was, almost destiny. And I was like, huh? So I looked it up. This is a car accident that Kanye caused, right? Because he fell asleep at the wheel. Now, things happen. Maybe he was working real hard, whatever. Sure. But the issue that always rubbed me the wrong way is that he hit another car. It's not like Kanye just had a car accident and hit a tree and it didn't affect anybody. From what I understand, this dude hit another person, right? Another car with someone in that shit, right? Who knows what happened to that person? I remember at the time, I think there was a person who claimed that they were injured. I don't know what happened with that. Maybe that person settled or whatever. But I always thought it was really weird that Kanye would make this song glorifying this car accident that he caused that may or may not have affected someone else's life adversely. And, he just kind of gets praised for it. And there's nobody ever wanted to dig and find out the information and shit like that. And that's when I started to we're not right away, but over time I was like, oh, this Kanye dude has impunity and people are going to excuse the shit out of him for whatever. The white media is going to put him on a pedestal and they're going to write all these fantastic tales about how he's a genius and all this bullshit, right? When he's just being narcissistic and saying whatever comes to his mind because at the end of the day, it wins. It works for him. Kanye has always been Kanye. And I think this is the thing. A lot of y'all are surprised about certain shit that he's doing, but I think deep down that this has always been Kanye, right? If you've been paying attention, Kanye has been Kanye. In fact, if there's one thing I give him credit for, he has stuck to who he was, and he's always been that way. You know what I mean? That's why when I see the excuses, oh, his mom died, so that's why he's being a coon. No, he was always a coon. He has problems with his ex-wife. That's why he's being a coon. No, he was always a coon. Okay, it was always there. Okay, stop it. Right? You're giving excuses because deep down you relate to something about Kanye, that sort of mediocre on a pedestal energy, the delusional energy that Kanye always rolls around with. You relate to that shit because at the end of the day, Kanye was the guy. He was the lame. With all due respect. You know, you had guys like Fat Cat Pauly. I mean, he wasn't out at the time, but you know what I'm saying. Like, rap was a lot harder, right? Like the Jays and Nas's of the world, they made rap cool as shit, and there's a lot of people that were jealous of that shit and wanted, they wanted to look good with the ice, with the girls and all that shit, but they didn't have the charisma for that. They didn't have the voice. You know what I mean? And here comes Kanye with not the voice or the looks or whatever, but is somehow this everyman rapper, right? And that shit hit with casuals. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's almost like they could see someone that was just like them who's winning. That's my hypothesis. But that's how I look at the shit. And so yes, they bond to Kanye because they can relate to him. Kanye is a safe Negro. That's how he kind of came out. I'm not talking about guns like these other niggas. I remember I've told you about these positive arty farty rappers who leech off the culture, who use the gangster shit, the real shit, the hard shit, to prop themselves up while simultaneously distancing themselves from it when convenient, right? So a lot of this behavior I've been seeing, and I was not a fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anything Kanye has done is genius level. Nothing. Literally nothing. I've never heard anything from Kanye that's been like, yo, that's some genius level shit. Never. I've heard stuff that's been cool. You know what I'm saying? I've heard good beats from him when he was doing productions for people. Obviously, we know some of those great beats. Those were great beats. They weren't, again, life-changing beats. Shit that I've heard from Primo or Timbaland or RZA where I was like, oh my God, how the fuck did they do that? I never had that with Kanye, ever. Right? His beats are, they're good standard in a sense. Like you kind of can see what they are, and that's it. They're good. And that's when he was working for other people. I never was a big fan of his solo material at all because I didn't like the beats. I certainly didn't like the rhymes and the vocals. And then on top of that, the antics turned me off. So it's been a long time coming. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff has been there, man. And that's why it's like, yo, pay attention, man. Pay attention, you know? And if you're not going to pay attention, at least like someone like myself who is paying attention, and it's not just me, there are other heads out here who are paying attention. Like, don't try to shoehorn us out of the culture. And I think that's the part that gets disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of us that really love this rap shit. We spent money on it. We've gone to concerts, bought CDs, the whole nine. We really believed in the shit when you didn't care about it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like every now and they'll come out with a new rapper who, obviously it's just money, and they market it casuals, and they just shoehorn the heads out of the culture. Like, oh no, they wash, they're haters, blah blah. That shit's frustrating, man, because it's like without us, there would be no none of this hip hop shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be here today, gone tomorrow, right? So that's why I'm here. Tell you the real, all right? Peace, love y'all.